Hi everyone and welcome back. Today we're diving into some more tech nostalgia. In this video I'll be demonstrating Ubuntu 6.06, also known as Dapper Drake, on this 20-year-old HP laptop. We'll see how this pioneering version of Ubuntu performs on hardware from the early 2000s, and I'll share some interesting historical facts about the operating system along the way. We'll start by installing Ubuntu 6.06 on this laptop, and then we'll take a tour of the features, look at some pre-installed applications, and see how it performs with contemporary hardware. So let's get started. If you're excited to see Ubuntu 6.06 in action, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more Linux content. Let's boot up this old laptop and see what Dapper Drake can do. For those who might not know, Ubuntu 6.06 was released on June 1st, 2006, and it was a significant milestone for the Ubuntu project because it was the first version to receive long-term support, or LTS. This meant it would receive updates and support for a longer period, making it more appealing for users looking for stability and reliability. It's also noted as the only version of Ubuntu to ever be released late, but most agreed the result was worth the wait. Before we dive into the install, let's take a moment to appreciate the history behind Ubuntu 6.06 and understand why it was such an important release. Ubuntu was founded by Mark Shuttleworth in 2004 with a clear vision to create a user-friendly Linux distribution that anyone could use. At the time, Linux was often seen as a system for techies, nerds, and developers, but Shuttleworth wanted to change that by making it accessible and easy to use for the average person. The word Ubuntu comes from a Southern African philosophy meaning humanity towards others, and this philosophy of community and inclusivity was central to the project's mission. Fast forward to 2006 and we get to Ubuntu 6.06, codenamed Dapper Drake. Each Ubuntu release has a code name made up of an adjective and an animal, and Dapper Drake certainly lived up to this name by being polished and reliable. This release was crucial for Ubuntu's reputation because it was the first long-term support, or LTS, release. What made Dapper Drake so special was its LTS designation, meaning it would receive updates and support for 3 years on the desktop and 5 years on servers. This was a major selling point for users and businesses looking for a stable and secure operating system. Ubuntu 6.06 introduced several key features that set it apart. First, it came with this GNOME 2.14 desktop environment, offering a clean, intuitive interface. This was a big step forward in making Linux more accessible to new users. Another major feature was the graphical installation process. Prior to this, installing Linux could be quite daunting, but Dapper Drake Installer made it much more straightforward. Plus, the inclusion of a live CD allowed users to try Ubuntu without installing it, which was a revolutionary feature at the time. Improved hardware support was another highlight, making it easier for users to get their devices working right out the box. This was a big deal because hardware compatibility had been a significant hurdle for Linux adoption. Overall, Ubuntu 6.06 Dapper Drake was a landmark release that helped solidify Ubuntu's reputation as a user-friendly and reliable operating system. It laid the foundation for the many successful LTS releases that followed. Now that we've covered some history, let's move on to the installation and see how Ubuntu 6.06 performs on this vintage laptop. Before we dive into the installation, let's take a look at the hardware we'll be using today. This 20-year-old laptop is an HP model from 2003. It has some interesting specifications. Under the hood, we have an Intel Celeron processor running at 1.07 GHz. This was a budget-friendly CPU at the time, designed for basic commuting task. It's equipped with 256 megabytes of RAM, which sounds tiny by today's standards, but was fairly typical for entry-level laptops back in the early 2000s. We have a 100 gigabyte spinning rust hard drive. These mechanical hard drives were the standard before solid-state drives. Given these specs, it's going to be really interesting to see how well Ubuntu 6.06 performs. This setup is definitely a blast from the past, but it should be capable of handling the lightweight demands of this operating system. With that overview done, let's move on to the installation process and get Ubuntu 6.06 up and running on this vintage computer. Alright, let's get started with the installation. First, we'll boot the laptop from the Ubuntu 6.06 live installation disk. Ubuntu 6.06 introduced a graphical installer that made the installation process much more user-friendly. Let's walk through this step by step. First, we select our preferred language. I'll choose English and press forward. Next, we set our time zone. I'll select my time zone and click forward. Now we choose our keyboard layout. I'll just go with the default option and click forward. I just enter my name and password information and click forward. Here's where things get interesting. Ubuntu 6.06 offered a guided partition option, which was a huge help for users who weren't familiar with disk partitioning. I'll select the option to use the entire disk and click forward. We get a summary of our installation settings, and once we're happy with everything, we just click install to start the process. The installer will copy files to the hard drive and configure the system, which may take a little while. Here's a quick time lapse of the installation process. As you can see, it's copying files, installing the base, and setting up the software. And we're done. The installation is complete. We'll remove the installation disk and restart the laptop and boot into our new Ubuntu 6.06 system. Here we are at the login screen. I'll enter the username and password we set up during installation. And here it is, Ubuntu 6.06 desktop environment. This is GNOME 2.14, which was known for its simplicity and ease of use. From here, we can start exploring the system and checking out its features. This version of GNOME was known for its simplicity and ease of use, which was quite different from what we see in modern Ubuntu versions. The first thing you'll notice is the clean and straightforward interface. At the top, we have the panel, which contains the main menu, system tray, and clock. The bottom panel is used for managing open windows and virtual desktops. Let's explore the main menu. Under Applications, we have different categories like Accessories, Games, Graphics, Internet, and Office, and more. Next, we have our Places menu, which gives us a quick access to our home directory, desktop, and various file system locations. This makes file management a breeze. Finally, the System menu, which is where we find settings and administrative tools. Here we can adjust system preferences, manage users, and perform system updates. Overall, the GNOME 2.4 interface was designed to be intuitive and user-friendly, making it accessible even for those new to Linux. Now let's take a look at some pre-installed applications. Starting with the Internet category, we have Firefox 1.5. As you can see, Firefox 1.5 has a clean and simple interface. While it will struggle with some modern websites, it was more than capable for everyday browsing back in 2006. Next, let's check out OpenOffice.org 2.0 in the Office category. This suite included a word processor, spreadsheet, and presentation software. Here we have OpenOffice.org Writer, the word processing application. It offers a wide range of features similar to Microsoft Word, making it a great free alternative. In the graphics category, we have GIMP 2.2, a powerful image editor. GIMP 2.2 provided many advanced image editing tools, making it a popular choice for graphic designers and photographers. Let's move on to customization. To change the desktop background, we simply right-click on the desktop and select Change Desktop Background. Here we can choose from a selection of pre-installed wallpapers or install our own. Let's pick a new wallpaper and give the desktop a fresh look. We can also customize the overall look and feel by changing themes. Under the Themes tab, we have several options to choose from. Let's apply a new theme and see how it changes the appearance of windows and controls. Additionally, we can add applets to the panel for quick access to various functions. Right-clicking on the panel, selecting Add to Panel gives us a list of available applets. For example, let's add a System Monitor applet and keep an eye on CPU and memory usage. Now, let's test the performance of Ubuntu 6.06 on this old laptop by running multiple applications simultaneously. I'll open Firefox. OpenOffice.org Writer. And GIMP. Despite the age of this hardware, Ubuntu 6.06 handles these applications pretty well. There might be some lag, but overall, it's impressive how usable this system still is today. Let's open up the terminal. We'll use the top command to see how the CPU and memory are being utilized. As we can see, the system is using a reasonable amount of resources, and there's still some headroom for additional tasks. This lightweight nature was one of the strengths of Ubuntu 6.06. Overall, Ubuntu 6.06 performs admirably on this old hardware. It's a testament to the efficiency and optimization of the operating system at the time. We've explored the user interface, checked out some pre-installed applications, customized the desktop, and tested the performance of Ubuntu 6.06 Dapper Drake. It still holds up quite well, especially on older hardware. Using Ubuntu 6.06 on such old hardware has been a fascinating experience. It's incredible to see how well it still performs, even after all these years. The GNOME 2.14 desktop is a simple and intuitive, making it easy to navigate. The system, although dated and brown, is surprisingly responsive, handling basic tasks like web browsing, word processing, and image editing with ease. It's a testament to the efficiency and design of Ubuntu back in 2006. So, if you've enjoyed this trip down memory lane, stay tuned. In future videos, I'll be exploring more old operating systems, comparing them to modern alternatives, and even looking at how we can use current lightweight distributions to revive this vintage hardware. There's so much to learn from the evolution of technology, and I'm excited to share these journeys with you. Thank you for joining me on this nostalgic adventure with Ubuntu 6.06. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future content. And as always, feel free to leave a comment with your thoughts or any suggestions for what you'd like to see next. This has been Leroy with Leroy Likes Linux, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.